welcome to another amazing Facebook Live. Today we are at the Renshaw Academy in Liverpool, which is really, really exciting, and we're joined by two very, very special guests. We're joined by Jane from the Renshaw Academy, and we're joined by the incredibly talented Molly Robbins from Molly's Creative Cakes. So we want you to ask lots of questions about the Renshaw Academy and baking, and if you've got any questions at all for Molly, please do just comment below. We're going to go into lots of detail about how to make an incredible pizza cake. But first of all, we want to talk about why we're at the Renshaw Academy and why it's so special. So Jane, tell us about the Renshaw Academy.
The Renshaw Academy is an industry leading facility, and we use it for training, and we bring customers on site, and really creating inspirational applications.
Amazing.
It's also a showcase for our product range. We actually show all of our product range for both Renshaw and Rainbow Dust.
Okay.
And we do classes, and then also, obviously, is what we're doing today is a tutorial.
Fantastic. Okay, so loads of stuff going on here then constantly, and we have been absolutely surrounded by the most incredible cakes. I've been sharing them a lot on our Instagram, so pop over to Instagram and have a look behind the scenes. And we've got some amazing cakes here. So these are the latest trends in cake decorating. Can you tell us a little bit more about these cakes?
Yeah, so just a couple of cakes we've got here. The one at the front is Metallics. Metallics has been around for a little while, but it's really popular at the moment. And obviously going to Christmas as well, you're going to see a lot from Metallics out there. And then the concrete cake.
That's really interesting, because it does look like stone or concrete.
It does, yeah, and you can do that with a couple of different techniques. This one is sugar paste, and actually some of the techniques here are used by crushing up a little bit of tinfoil. Okay. And actually, so you get this sort of concrete sort of texture to it. And then again, with the metallics, you can use the luster dusts. That also can be done in buttercream and royal icing. Just leave it so it's a little bit textured, so it just looks like concrete. So yeah, lovely, lovely design, that one. And then this one at the back here is one of our new colours, which is sapphire blue.
Got it here. So this will be landing in Hobbycraft stores in the next couple of months, which is fantastic. We've got some other colours coming in as well, haven't we, I think?
We have. We've got autumn gold, and we've got latte. Two new colours coming through.
And what was it described as? The colour of pugs?
Pug colour, yeah.
Pug colour.
Yeah,
brown.
Pug brown.
Pug beige.
Yeah.
So pug cakes are very popular as well, so you'll be able to make more realistic looking pug cakes, which is very, very exciting.
And the autumn gold also can have the lustre on the top of it to actually bring that gold.
It's gorgeous.
Really make a really nice gold metallic cake. So yeah, two really nice colours there.
Fantastic. And we've got loads and loads of other cakes that we want to show you. So we're going to ask Tom, our cameraman, just to kind of get the camera and move over here, because you have to see these incredible cakes. They're just mind-blowing. So we're just going to hop over this way and show you our amazing display. So, Jane, should we just pop in?
We can.
So, what can we see here?
Well, within the academy, we create lots of different designs just so that we can really showcase our product. So here, the horse's head, 3D, more advanced sort of cake, but again using these lusters. And then coming to a unicorn cake here, and again using the lusters but in a more simplistic cake. And we have some flower modelling pastes where we can create sort of really, really nice designs on the top. And as you see here, some of our rainbow dust products as well. So yeah, a whole different variety of products. And actually here are donuts. These are really trending at the moment. These and showcasing them like, whoops, daisy. Don't break them. And showcasing them like this as well, so you can actually take them off and just eat them, actual real donuts. So yeah,
really different, really imaginative way to decorate donuts. And I absolutely love this. Is this a narwhal? They're very popular.
Yeah.
Hobbycraft customers love a narwhal.
Yeah.
There's another trend for you. And crabs and unicorns, obviously.
Yeah, all out there. Yeah,
it's incredible.
All trending. Yeah.
Amazing selection of cakes. And cactuses, can't forget cactuses.
Fabulous.
So we're just moving around a little bit because technical. We have to make sure we've got so you can hear us basically. So what we're going to do now is pass over to Molly, who's going to show us how to make this incredible pizza cake. Should we look at it first before we get started?
Yeah, because look at this cool box.
It's an amazing box.
I quickly mentioned that I quite like a branded pizza box, and Kaylee just ran off and made one for me. So
Your wish is Renshaw.
I know, I feel spoiled.
It's so realistic.
It's cool, isn't it?
crazy.
It's fantastic.
Do you know what I find as well? It's a really nice cake to do for. Occasionally, you get customers and they don't really know what they want. Specifically, like Father's Day or blokes, and you don't want to do something too girly, and it's just quite people pleasing. Everyone likes pizza.
Absolutely, and it's a wild cake as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can kind of personalise it to whatever you want to put on it.
Yeah.
So we're going to make a few different things on here.
Amazing. Fab. So I'm not looking at my phone for any other reason other than to kind of get your comments, so that we can answer any questions that you have for Molly as we're going along.
I will say as well, I've got like black stained fingers. I look like I've not had a shower, but it's because I've been making a cake this week that was airbrush black, and the airbrush colours have got a little bit stained. So I'm going to start off. Breakfast for you. There's your lunch sorted. So I've just got a little 10-inch, that's a Genoese sponge that I baked yesterday, and I've got it on a little cake card. This is going to be the base of our pizza, and then I'm going to use the ready-made vanilla frosting. I'm just going to actually put this. You could put it all over if you want, but I tend to just put it. Don't throw the cake on the floor. It's a good start. That was well thought.
Well thought, yeah, definitely.
Did that the other day. You know, you're asking about cake disasters.
Oh, here we go. We've got one.
We've got one. So I'm just going to put this around the edge. If you wanted to put it all over, you can do that, but I'm going to use some jam in a minute. So this is going to be for our crust to stick to. So I'm picking it up and I'm just going round. It's so nice to use. It's a really, really nice little product, this, because it's so handy. You don't have to get your mixer out, because you know the mess you can make when you make buttercream, like the icing sugar just absolutely goes everywhere. So it's quite nice to have something on hand.
We've got lots of people watching. Hello.
Hi everyone.
We've got Kim Butler says amazing cake, sent to see Molly.
Oh, thanks Kim. That's so nice. You feel like you're having like. I feel like everyone's here when you do a live, don't you? Like, you've got an audience.
Well, everyone can get involved.
Yeah.
Ask any questions you want.
Yeah.
Even if it's not about cakes, well.
Yeah, anyone got any life issues they want to discuss?
Agony arms.
Yeah.
Molly.
I'm probably not very good at that, but I'll have a go. So there is our crust. And the nice thing about this kind of cake is you don't have to be neat. In fact, the less neat you are, the more realistic it looks, because it kind of gets that really organic kind of look about it.
Yeah.
And another tip, I think, for making realistic looking food cake is actually make the cake the colour it would be before it was cooked.
Oh, okay.
And then we're actually going to use a couple of different things. We're going to use airbrushing and then a little bit of blowtorch action to make it look like it's cooked. So we're technically kind of cooking it with that. So I'm going for this Celebration, which is like an ivory kind of colour. It's a really nice base. You kind of think the colour of like your pizza dough.
Yeah.
Before you cook it. So I'm going to roll out a really.
Let me hold on to it.
You hold on to that. I'm going to roll out a really long snake like this. Do you know what? This is a really nice one as well. Not the airbrushing bit, but for kids to get involved with this, because they don't have to be really neat and precise. It's a really fun one to do. So you roll out your long snake, and this is going to go all the way around. Now this cake is one of these that looks like it's going to be really bad until I've finished it, and everyone's going to go, that is awful.
Until you get a blowtorch on it.
Until we get the blowtorch on it, and then everyone goes, oh, actually, it looks quite good, that. So this is going to be the crust. And I'm going to put that all the way around like that. Somebody pass me a tea towel when you get set.
Tea towel, that's tea towel.
Or just some with that kitchen roll
I'll get it.
out of that little machine. Because I've already got buttercream on me. And I'm just going to use my fingers to kind of pinch it and work your way around, because you want like the kind of bubbling, realistic effect that you get from a pizza. This is quite a thick pizza. I think Italians would not approve of the thickness of our pizza, because they like them quite thin. But we want a decent amount of cake, don't we?
Well, yeah. The more the better.
The first thing I'm going to do is turn on my airbrush. I don't want to get in your nice dress.
Wow.
And in the airbrush, I've got some rainbow dust colours. This is liquid colour. So this is the water-based airbrush colour. And we've got black and brown. I've sort of done about, I would say, 2 drops of black and 4 drops of brown. So when you mix it together, it gives you a nice kind of dark brown colour. And we're going to do a little bit of shading on here.
Can you see that, everyone? It's
In fact,
impressive.
I'm going to add some more brown. I think it could take a little bit more brown. Because we don't want it to look too burnt. We want a more of a golden kind of colour, I would say.
Sheila's saying, is it going to be a stuffed crust?
It is a stuffed crust, stuffed with vanilla buttercream.
And Cheryl's saying her sons are pizza crazy and this would be awesome for their birthday.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to I'm going to hold this in my hand. I'm going to be like a real pizza maker. And I'm not going to drop it. I'm going to try not to drop it.
It's impressive how it's coming out.
So this is going to get our kind of more cooked bits. And then we're going to really caramelise it with our blowtorch, which is, in my opinion, the most fun bit. But a little bit scary. I think you should stand back for that bit.
Oh God, okay.
I have been known to set myself on fire a little bit with the blowtorch. I had a dodgy blowtorch, to be fair. So we're getting our colour on there, going all the way around the base, and you can see I'm not being neat at all with this. And that's the secret, I think. You just kind of go for it. I think having pictures of stuff helps as well. I always kind of will Google like just pictures of pizzas to see what it looks like. Quite helpful. So the reason I'm airbrushing as well as blowtorching is if we were going to blowtorch it this dark, it would be pretty burnt.
Right.
And we don't want to do that. We just want a bit of light caramelisation, I would say. So leave the colour in the airbrush because we're going to use it on the toppings as well. But before we do that, this is the slightly fun scary part.
Right, I'm standing back.
Stand back. So what this is going to do is, basically with the sugar paste, it's mainly sugar. So if you imagine a creme brulee, you put sugar on it and then caramelise the top, it's essentially the same thing. So I will say, obviously not great for kids.
Wow.
But we're going to just char it a little bit. Oops, how do you do that? That's it.
Oh, it's a really interesting effect straight away.
Yeah.
And it smells good as well.
It does smell nice, doesn't it?
It's really good.
People think it's going to be like
Burnt and horrible.
burnt and horrible, but it's not. I did make the mistake once of using this on one of those wooden turntables when I was doing a live demo, and I sort of set that on fire as well. So it's always a little bit chaotic, but I think it adds a bit of drama.
Yeah.
So I'm using this is seedless raspberry jam, which is a rather nice tomato sauce, and tastes nice as well. I really like raspberry jam rather than strawberry because it gives that kind of tartness that I think really cuts through because it can be quite sweet. We're putting a lot of sugar on this, so the raspberry really gives a nice effect. And essentially, we're filling the cake, but the filling's going on top rather than inside. You could, if you wanted to, put a layer of buttercream in the middle.
Okay.
But you'd have to cut it quite thin.
That would be really sickly though. That would be so swell. If you like your sugar.
If you like the sugar, or maybe chocolate ganache, something like that, just to make it a little bit more unhealthy. So there's our tomato sauce, and then we've got some chocolate modelling paste, which people presume is icing, but it's not. It's actual chocolate.
Okay.
But it's made in such a way that you can make things with it and you can model with it. And it's flexible, it sets really hard, and it's just white chocolate. It's really nice. It smells nice, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Because we've grated this just with a fine grater, and it grates like cheese.
It's exactly like cheese.
It's good, isn't it?
Really good.
Another kind of thing people would go to is using yellow for the cheese, but actually because it's mozzarella cheese, it's more like white really.
Yeah.
So it's a great colour, and I've pre-grated some of this.
Wow.
And we're going to put some on here. So I think we kind of go for it with the cheese.
Yeah.
And I'm going to melt this cheese. We're going to put some toppings on and then a little bit more cheese and we melt it again. We do a lot of melting.
Got lots of people watching. We got Sarah. Hello.
Hi Sarah.
Hi Sarah. We got MS. Hello MS.
It's a nickname.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So cheese is going on. And like I say, you're kind of working your way backwards as if you were making a pizza from scratch. It's a similar thing really. We're doing all the steps that you would do if you worked at Pizza Hut or whatever. We should have like chef's hats on. It's quite a nice cake to make because you don't feel like you're doing a cake. Do you know what I mean? It's a
No.
nice change, especially for me. I spend my life making cakes. It's nice to have the change sometimes.
Oh, blowtorch is back
Blowtorch is
again.
back. So this actually, because it's chocolate, it's got such a low melting point, has a really cool immediate effect. I hope this isn't run out of gas. No, I don't think it is. So can you see it's kind of melting already,
Can you see that?
caramelising.
Oh, Lee's saying, love Molly.
Ah.
She's like a wizard with cakes. 10 out of 10.
Cake Wizard, love that. I'll take that.
New nickname, Cake Wizard.
The Cake Wizard. That's cool, I like that. Or would I be a witch?
Claire's been dying to create a pizza cake. Loving the tips. Thanks, Molly.
Yay, awesome. And as well, there's a lot of different things you can use. You could use like little sweets or whatever, just anything you could find. The first thing I'm going to show you, because I think it's a really cool, easy technique, is how we make the pepperoni.
Okay.
And it's a really popular topping. If you think about pizza, you think about
Yeah.
pepperoni. So I've got some Renshaw sugar paste. We've got dark brown, a little bit of this ruby red, which is a nice, it's quite a natural red colour,
Yeah.
rather than that really harsh red, because you don't want the real bright, if it's meat,
No,
it's kind of gross as well.
Oh god, yeah.
But this is a really fun technique, and we've got some of the celebration again. So what I'm going to do is roll this out, and we're going to marble it, but we're going to marble it in such a way that it looks like meat. So what I do is keep the lines of the marbling going in the same direction, and just keep folding it over. Fold it, roll, fold it, roll. You see the lines are still going that way. And if you do that about 15 times, then your little log looks like that.
Amazing.
So, hopefully, when we cut this,
It should look.
it should look like
Yeah,
it's
it
got
really
the
does.
kind of marbling
Oh, and
of
the little white bits.
the little white bits in there, appetising.
I think it's going to taste better than real pepperoni because I'm not a big pepperoni fan.
Oh,
So
you're not?
this is perfect.
Well, I'm not a meat eater, so making
Oh.
meat for me is
Oh,
really
that's
weird.
really
It's quite strange. So we'll cut some of those up, and then I've just got a little board here, because when we put these on the board, you can see there,
They look amazing.
they look cool, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's a really easy technique. It just takes about 2 or 3 minutes just to marble them, and you can kind of make them round if you wanted to.
But they are, you're absolutely right. If they were perfectly round, it just wouldn't look as real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, well, maybe it should be more like a chorizo. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's some sort of sausage, some sort
It's
of
a
pork
sausage.
product.
It's a meat based thing.
So now I'm going to get my airbrush again, and I'm just going to go around the edge. So we're just making it look like it's cooked. Can you see?
Oh yeah.
Just around the edge, it's just like it's catching a little bit, like it's been cooked.
Amazing.
And then obviously we can hit that with the blowtorch again if you wanted to.
Oh, Mags. Hello Mags. First time watching.
Oh, awesome!
She can't wait for the end result. She
Yay.
thinks it looks amazing already.
Yay! Someone's got to eat this.
I'm sure we can eat it.
So I'm going to put this on now. On every step, I think it's a good way to add the colour as well with the toppings. Like I'm going to put a few kind of vegetable-looking things on there, and a bit more cheese at the end. And then we've got a little tip of how to make the little dried herbs. I go really extra with this. I really enjoy it. So another fun one we can do is a mushroom. So what I do for the mushroom, go back to your ivory colour, your celebration colour, and what I do is actually make a mushroom and then cut it up
Oh,
to make the slices. So if you roll out a ball of ivory, flatten it a bit, this is going to be the cap of the mushroom, like that, and then you get a little bit of grey, do the same thing. So flatten that, that's like the underneath, if you imagine that's going to be the cap of the mushroom. And then the stalk, but what I actually do is I make the stalk go in that way, because then every slice is the same. It makes sense. I'll show you.
Oh, I know.
Do you know what I mean?
do know
Because if you
now.
put the stalk in the centre, you
Yeah.
only get those with the
Yeah.
stalk, and we want it all. So now, hopefully, we can slice this up,
Wow, so quick.
and we get
That
little
looks great.
mushroom
Can you
slices.
see that on camera? See these little mushrooms? Tom's nodding.
And you can kind of pinch the stalk a little bit, give it a better shape. But that's such an easy. Oh, I've used the wrong side of my knife there. Good start.
Wow.
So little mushroom slices going on.
So effective.
It is, isn't it? It's a really fun one, that.
Top tip there from
Top
Molly.
tip. Well, there you go. That
Heard
one's
it
free.
here.
And then you could add a little bit of colour to these. You just want to give it that charred look. So you see the difference between that one and that one. It's very subtle. And if you didn't have an airbrush, you can use the powder colours just to dust them.
Okay.
You know, like the flower making and stuff. It's just a dry powder colour. You could use a little bit of black, a little bit of chocolate brown, and then they can go on. Put our mushrooms on.
Ooh, someone else singing your praises here.
Oh, go on. Oh, I hate it.
Rebecca's
Carry on.
like, I absolutely love Molly.
Oh.
She's inspired me to bake some cakes at home, including
so nice.
a car and a tent.
Wow.
Wow.
That's some quite serious first ever cakes as well.
Well, she said not on the same amazing level as hers, though.
I
You're
don't
being
think that's true.
modest.
You're being very
I'm
modest.
sure it's brilliant, Rebecca.
You haven't seen all the rubbish ones I make.
Oh. What's the kind of craziest cake you've ever made?
I made a life-size elephant, which is really
A real life-size?
Well, it was a life-size baby African elephant, so it was
Oh my
about
God.
that big. It was
Oh
about
my
this big,
goodness.
I know. And I didn't measure the door on the way out,
Oh no.
so it actually lost an
So it
ear.
lives with you and
Yeah, so now we live together. So these are just going to be peppers. Easy one.
yeah.
It's just little strips, but you can do different colours. So I've got some green ones, some orange ones, and that's a really nice way of getting some colour on there.
That looks great.
So we'll add a little bit of airbrush colour to these just before we pop them on.
Molly, you are the queen of cake.
Oh, thank you. Everyone's being nice on. I like these Hobbycraft
really
people.
Nice.
You guys.
Great.
So a little bit of that. And I actually make a pizza on Extreme Cake Makers as well.
Ah, yeah. Tell us about Extreme Cake Makers then.
So Extreme Cake Makers just is, well, the one on at the moment is series 4. So we've done about 100 and something episodes, I know.
Oh my goodness.
It's been absolutely crazy, and I do about 20 episodes per series, so it's a busy old time, but really fun. It's a really fun thing to do. I love it. And I love, you know, it's not natural for me to be kind of on camera, but when you're talking about something you know really well and you love and you're passionate about, it's just easy.
Yeah.
I love it, and I love the people that watch it. Like, it's brought so many people, like, you get a lot of little boys that watch it and think it's cool.
Oh,
Little
that's
boys think I'm
good.
cool.
Oh.
And a lot of kind of, you know, like, just truck driving blokes that you wouldn't think were into cakes, and they were like, that's nice, that. And I like that kind of thing.
Praise indeed.
I know. So I've got a little bit of black now. I like these black olives.
Oh yeah.
Are you a fan of an olive on a pizza?
I'm not a fan of an olive on a pizza, but this pizza, yes.
The black really contrasts really nicely. So that's just literally little discs. Flatten them a bit, and then you just get something with an end. I've got a paintbrush. Make a hole.
Wow.
Stick them on. How easy is that?
That's so easy.
I mean, you could use a cutter, a round cutter if you wanted to, but I think it's just... I always think with cutters and moulds and stuff, by the time you've got it out and found it,
yeah.
you may as well just do it with a knife or something. So it's just whatever's to hand, really.
Well, Lindsay said that you made her elephant birthday cake.
Oh!
And it looked as good, no, it tasted as good as it looked.
Oh, that's good.
Yes.
Well, that's praise indeed. Thank you,
Yeah.
Lindsay. That's very kind. I make a lot of cakes. I think I've made the last rough count, I think I made about 3,500
Oh my god.
in about 9 years.
Wow.
So
That is a lot of cake.
I've had a busy few years. So there's the olives on there. What else have we got? Oh, just some little squares of ham.
Oh, a bit of ham.
I mean, there's
Why
not
not?
much room. Well, we need to airbrush these. You can see there, if I put that on like that,
It looks weird, doesn't it? It's too
too
bright.
pink.
Mm.
So we need to take it down a bit and make it look a bit more natural. And that's literally just squares cut out. And you can see I've not cut them perfectly square. Such a better difference in
Yeah.
colour now.
Wow. Diana says the best cake, in her opinion, was the Shetland pony.
Oh yeah, the life-size Shetland pony. That was really cute.
Everything life-size.
Do you know what as well? I don't often get really attached to cakes, but that one, it was the first kind of freestanding life-size cake I'd ever done. And it had taken such a lot of thought and time, and I've spent a lot of time with this pony. And we made it for, it was actually for Cheshire Dogs Home, because they have one Shetland pony.
Oh.
It's really sweet. They ended up with this pony she was mistreated, and so they basically have hundreds of dogs and one Shetland pony. But because this pony's separate, it has to be fundraised separately. So we fundraised for her, and it raised loads of money. But when it got cut, me and my mum were like, we've got to go.
Did they actually eat the pony?
Well, because they sold the slices to raise, and it raised a lot of money, but it was quite
But you
upsetting.
couldn't watch.
We couldn't look. So I think a nice little, I like this yellow, so I'm going to make some little sweet corn kernels
Amazing.
now.
Oh yeah.
And they're so easy. They're literally just like a little teardrop shape,
Mhm.
and then you flatten them slightly. Look, I always end up
Covered in
stuff. So just, and I think they can actually go on as they are, because the sweet corn kind of tends to stay quite yellow.
Yeah. That's amazing. And all this stuff you can get from Hobbycraft.
Yeah.
It's all Renshaw products.
Yeah, and rainbow dust.
And rainbow dust, which is fantastic. We've got some great offers on baking at the moment. So go over to our website or pop into store and go and speak to one of our friendly colleagues and ask them about the Renshaw icing.
It's
and
literally all I use.
Really?
Yeah, don't use anything else. All
It's
Renshaw. So everything you
fantastic.
see on Extreme Cake Makers, all Renshaw, all rainbow dust products.
And the colours are just awesome, aren't
They are awesome, and having the colour already there and not having to mix it yourself is just such a blessing. And then there's no airbrush colour I prefer, because I do a lot of airbrushing. Put our little, and now you can see we've lost our cheese really, so I'm going to put some more cheese on,
Wow.
so we can go back to the cheese, and then we do a little bit more, because you don't want to cover them up, but we still want that
Yeah.
cheesy kind of look. So cheese on top, then we can blowtorch it again.
Wow.
So is there any questions about cakes, or
What's your questions, people? What do
Anyone
you
got
want
any?
to know? Lots of people just saying how much they love you.
that's nice. That's very
Emily
kind.
is absolutely an envy of Molly.
Aw.
She's such a talented, lovely lady.
That's so kind. Thank you.
Yeah, keep
Follow my
doing what
mum.
you're doing. Yeah. Just your mum's setting up lots of different accounts.
That's kind. Thank
So if you've got any questions or any tips or anything that you're really struggling with when you're decorating your cakes and you want Molly to kind of help you.
Because I always think cakes should be really fun, shouldn't they?
Yeah, don't get stressed over your cakes.
No.
It's all going to be fine.
And you're going to eat it at the end of the day. So even if it looks rubbish, just eat it.
Do you ever make cakes that don't get eaten?
Yes, I
There's
do.
a lot around here.
I do make a lot of them for magazines, and to be honest, if I do make them fresh for magazines and stuff, I tend to give them away and make sure they get eaten. And
Yeah.
my other half takes a lot of them to work, so he's quite popular at his new job. But yeah, sometimes you do cakes for customers and they really love them and don't eat them.
Yeah.
And you kind of think, you've got to eat it, please eat it. But no, they don't want to, which is
Everyone's
great.
always got that, like one of the toppings from a Christmas cake, and it's just been kept for years.
Yeah,
their
or bride and
wedding
groom.
cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're supposed to keep the top tier of your wedding cake for a christening, aren't you?
Are you?
Yeah,
Oh,
supposedly.
I ate mine. This is looking insanely good.
So you can really go for it with
Wow.
the old
Can you
blowtorch.
see the detail? Can you see Tom? Yeah, he's nodding.
Yay. So I'm going to really blowtorch that, and then it will give it a little bit of a shine because of the sugar. It'll caramelise and give it a little bit of a shine, but we can actually brush on some confectioner's glaze as well
Okay. Just to give it an extra shimmer.
to make it look really, really greasy.
Oh.
So,
Oh, I have got a question.
oh yeah, go on.
So, what's your secret tip for making moist cakes that don't come out too dry?
I use half butter and half vegetable oil,
Okay.
which it sounds awful, but it makes the moistest, is that a word?
Yeah,
The
it
most
is now.
moist cakes ever, and it also means that your cake lasts a bit longer. So if you're making a really detailed cake
Yeah.
that needs a lot of work doing to it, you can make it a little bit more in advance, and it'll keep longer because of the veg oil.
There you
And
go.
it you know, butter is really nice in a cake, but I kind of think put your butter in your buttercream
Yeah.
and put a little bit more veg oil in the cake itself.
There you go, top tip. Oh, what's this? How do you make the best Victoria sponge cake, please? Because Philip's saying it's not coming out right for him.
I think the tip isn't so much in the actual baking, the ingredients in the baking, because usually a sponge cake you use equal amounts of stuff. Weigh your eggs is a good one, because the difference in weight of eggs is crazy. Like
Oh.
big eggs can weigh sometimes twice as much as small eggs. So weigh your eggs, make sure it's all the same amount of self-raising butter, and then do your half and half.
Yeah.
If you're doing a Madeira, add half the amount of plain flour, which is self-raising flour, and then it's more, I think, in the actual bake.
Okay.
So a lot of people, I think, are baking too high. So you see people baking cakes at like 180,
Yeah.
too high. I sometimes go right down to about 140. It takes a long time, but especially for big cakes, big deep ones,
Yeah.
which a lot of these, like these trends, these big deep tall cakes, you need that extra time really,
Yeah.
and it really does make a difference.
And I guess you can keep checking it, or do you not open the oven? Have I just said something bad there?
I mean, you can keep checking it. Every time you check it, you are going to run the risk of it collapsing.
Yeah.
But then the collapsing can come from too much baking powder, all those things, over mixing.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, there's a Mary Berry method, which is the all-in-one method.
Oh,
She
yeah.
just puts it all in.
Oh.
She doesn't do any creaming of anything first. You know, people say, "Oh, you cream this first."
Yeah.
Just
Shove it all in.
Stick it all in.
Well,
the
if
mixer.
Mary's saying it.
Mary's saying it, you can't really go wrong with that, can you? She's the queen.
Hope that helps you, Philip. Anyway.
Yeah. So get your oven down to about 150, I reckon.
Go Paul says, Molly, you're so beautiful.
That's nice. Thank you.
Isn't that lovely?
It's my mum again.
Bethany's saying, Molly, you're amazing. I loved your Alice in Wonderland.
Oh yes, that was for my local hospice that I do fundraising for, and we do every year we do a themed cake because they have a charity ball, and it was Alice in Wonderland themed. So that was all.
Amazing.
It was a big tiered one, and it had loads of. I think it raised over £1,000.
Wow.
I know.
Did that get eaten as well?
Yeah, that went to Manchester Children's Hospital.
Oh, so they
yeah,
always,
they
that's
all like
nice.
that. So that's the shine on there. Last
Very
touch.
Mm-hmm.
Edible glitter.
Ooh.
So I think this actually looks a little bit like dried herbs.
It does.
So that's what I'm going for. And this is, I know people ask a lot of questions about glitter. This is an actual edible glitter.
You can eat this, don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you can eat it.
So I'm just going to sprinkle those on top. And it just gives it a really little kind of, that's just me.
The finishing touch is extra.
That is very extra, but I like that. I think that's cool. And it'll stick because of the glaze on there as well. And with the glaze, just make sure you clean your brush with the glaze cleaner. It's like an alcohol-based cleaner rather than water.
Oh, I see. Top tip there.
There's another top tip. It's quite a boring tip, that, but it's a good tip.
Sensible tip.
So look.
Wow.
So it looks
Can
nice.
you see that? That looks delicious. Absolutely
You've got a
delicious.
pizza. It's cool, isn't it? So you can do loads of different toppings, loads of different styles. You can do really big ones. The one I made on the show was actually, I think it was 4 foot
Oh my
long.
goodness.
Because the actual restaurant we did it for do those really long pizzas.
Okay.
So we did different sections, so every section was a different flavour. That was really fun. So there's like prawns on there and all sorts of stuff.
Oh, wow.
But that's just a little bit of everything, and I think it's a really fun, it's a good introduction if you're not used to working with the kind of the modelling paste or the ready to roll stuff.
Really easy. I'm really surprised at how easy it is. And I guess if you're a vegetarian, take off the meat stuff and just do yourself a veggie feast.
Well, yeah, there's not a lot of meat going on in there.
I know.
But yeah, I think it's a fun intro. You could
Yeah.
definitely have a go at that, and kids could have a go. Obviously not with the blowtorch. You wouldn't have to blowtorch it even if you just wanted to use airbrush or a little bit of dusts, a little bit just to add a little bit of colour on there. I think it really helps. But yeah,
It's incredible. It's amazing. Everybody's saying, "Oh, it's amazing. Love it. Love it."
Oh, guys.
So, what's next for you then? I know Halloween's around the corner, so have you got any kind of top tips for Halloween? Any
Funny
trends?
you should say that.
Oh, what's
It's a
this?
shameless self-promotion.
What
But
is
this is the new issue of Cake Decoration Sugarcraft magazine.
Oh, and
You might recognise this lady on the
who's
front.
That?
So this is a ghost cake I've made.
That's really cool.
Using my Creature Creator, which is a cake mould. It's a baking
Okay.
mould. Cake comes out and you just decorate it however you like.
Incredible.
It's an easy way of making 3D cakes. So we've got that tutorial in there, and there's also I've somehow got myself a double tutorial in this.
So you need to pick up this magazine, basically.
Yeah. So this is one we've done with Rainbow Dust, which is it's just a mini project really.
Yeah.
We're calling it a spooky spider surprise.
It's nice because it's not a scary spider.
No.
I wouldn't want to eat a scary
And
spider.
I like the cute Halloween stuff. I don't like the gory because I think it's amazing, but you're going to eat it at the end of the day.
Hobbycraft don't like gore.
No.
Let's go cute.
I can make good edible blood, but no, we kept it cute. And if you look, it's So it's all painted with the metallic paints,
Mhm.
which show up even
Oh,
on the picture.
beautiful.
On the black, they show up amazingly.
Yeah.
And then we filled it with these sugar crystals, so they, when you
Amazing.
cut it like
I
pours.
love that.
I know, it's cool, isn't it?
Oh, fantastic.
So yeah, and then I'm going to be at the Cake and Bake Show next week.
Okay, who's going to the Cake and Bake Show?
Hands up.
Hands up.
And then I'll be at Cake International in November.
Amazing.
So it's a busy time for me,
Yeah.
but really fun. And the best bit for me is just meeting people, because
Mhm.
it can be, you work on your own a lot
Yeah.
doing this, so it's kind of surreal to realise people actually exist
There are people out there
in the
you
real
can talk
world.
to.
Yeah, so it's dead nice. So yeah, I'll be there. That's beginning of October in
Mhm.
London, and then November is first weekend in November.
Incredible. So if you're going, go and say hello to Molly. She
Yeah.
wants to talk to people.
Yeah,
She's just been
got
talking
no
to
friends.
Icing.
Making my own friends out of Icing.
And how else can we get in touch with you then? So where can we find you?
So mainly Instagram at the moment is
Mhm.
Molly Makes Cakes on Instagram. That's kind of a bit of everything. There's cakes on there, lots of pictures of my dogs. If you want them or
love the
not, you
dogs.
get them. And obviously Facebook is Molly's Creative
Facebook.
Cakes.
I think we should. Yeah, Tom's putting it so you can see that now.
See that now. I've got a
See
website
that.
which is mollyscreaturecreator.com.
Oh, we need to share that at some point as well.
And yeah, so enjoy.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for coming in and showing us how to make this incredible cake.
Thank you.
And if you want to get baking, Tom's just reminded me, there's an amazing competition which is
Ooh.
actually pinned to the top of our Facebook page. It's the Hobbycraft Baking Challenge, and we'd just love to see some of your amazing bakes. So we've had hundreds already.
So
Some
is it
of
just
them are
any
crazy.
theme?
Anything you fancy.
Ooh.
If you want to share a bake, if you've done one for a kid's birthday, or
Can I enter that?
you can enter that. Everyone will be entering these now.
Yeah, pizzas
We'll
everywhere.
have a rush of pizza cakes. But there's a fantastic prize that's been given to us by the wonderful people here at Renshaw. So you can go to the Cake and Bake show, and you get a massive Renshaw bundle as well, and a Hobbycraft voucher thrown in as well.
Yeah.
So enter your cakes right now. Just go straight over to the top of the Facebook page. It's pinned to the top. Fantastic. Right, so thank you so much for joining us here at the Renshaw Academy. We're going to continue over on Instagram and do some more kind of behind the scenes. We're probably going to get a close up of the what have I forgotten what it's called? The burning
Oh yeah, blowtorch.
blowtorch. So pop over to our Instagram channel.
I will say don't glaze it, then blowtorch it, because it
Okay.
will set on fire.
Oh gosh, let's not do that.
But we'll blowtorch something else.
Yeah, we'll just blowtorch stuff. Okay, so pop over to Instagram, and thanks for tuning in.